I've been taught by Ben Graham to buy things on a quantitative basis. Look around for things that are cheap. So I went around looking for what I call used cigar butts of stocks. And the cigar butt approach to buying stocks is that you walk down the street and you're looking around for cigar butts and you find this, on the street, this terrible looking, soggy, ugly looking cigar, one puff left in it. But you pick it up and you get your one puff. It's disgusting, you throw it away, but it's free. I mean, it's cheap. Well, that's what I did for years. It's a mistake. So much easier just to buy wonderful businesses. So now I would rather buy a wonderful business at a fair price than a fair business at a wonderful price.
Welcome to Personal Finance Cat, where I share my personal take on personal finance.
And lesson number 2 is be intentional and have a growth mindset. You have to be intentional because if you don't have the intention, you don't know where you're going, then of course you're not going to get there. In one of the podcast episodes, I interviewed someone who told me, if you think you're not going to be a millionaire, and of course you're not going to be because you don't have that goal in mind, you don't necessarily have to create steps to get there, and you're not going to get there. But if you have a very grand goal and your brain starts to think and you are trying to come up with ways to get there, then there's a good chance you will, right? You don't want to set goals that are too small and it's very easy to get there. That's not really that meaningful. You have to have a very ambitious goal. Even if you don't get there, right? Like they say, shoot for the stars. Even if you don't reach the stars, you will be a lot farther than a lot of people. That's why being intentional is important. You have to constantly challenge yourself, constantly grow your mindset. Talk to people that are successful, that are already where you want to be, and just learn from them. One myth is that why would those successful people be willing to share their secrets with you? Why wouldn't they keep all the secrets in the world? Surprisingly, those people, once they get there, they are willing to share most of the time. You might have heard it's lonely up there, right? Once you reach the peak, you become the most successful in your field, you want to share. You want to have someone who are like-minded, who can understand and talk in the same language as you. It's nice to have friends when you are at a certain level. So in my own experience, when I started investing in real estate, I thought, and my parents thought, why would people want to sell you a property that still makes financial sense to buy? Are they just getting rid of the pigs, so to speak? But what I find out is that nobody can have all the deals in the world. There's one reason or another that they want to get rid of some properties. Maybe they want to focus on a different class. Maybe they want to do new construction. Maybe they have other plans in mind. There could be a win-win situation, and those people are willing to share the knowledge because, again, it's fun to talk to people who are like-minded, and it's nice to see someone who is aspired, who just has the fire in their belly to want to do something, get somewhere. So keep that in mind. Don't let the negative thoughts, don't let the 2 cents of people who haven't done the same thing that you want to do tell you otherwise. A lot of times when you look at the successful people, they don't necessarily have higher intelligence, they don't necessarily have better education, they don't necessarily have better resources, at least not when they started. So how can they get there? It must be the mindset. It must be the willingness to try, the willingness to fail, the willingness to be humble and learn. And you can do the same. So that's why setting goals is important, and that's why having a growth mindset is very important. And there are a lot of resources out there. If you Google, you can find a lot of inspirational talks about changing your mindset. That's pretty much overused now, that you really have to use your judgment to, again, research who is really trustworthy and who really has a track record of helping people open up their mindset. All right, lesson number 3 is learn from the successful. I already hinted in the first 2 lessons. There are people who are successful out there that you can learn from. You don't have to recreate the wheel. A lot of times, whatever field you want to get into, right? It's rarely a field where you're the pioneer in. You can just see what the other people who are already successful are doing. For example, when I started in real estate, I listened to pretty much all the episodes I can get my hands on from Bigger Pockets. And there are so many ways to do real estate deals. It's mind-blowing, and at the same time, it's really helpful. I learned about BRRRR, which is buy, rehab, refinance, or repeat. That's a term coined by Brendan Turner, but the old timers, they've been doing that for years and years, if not decades and decades. There's no secret. but you just have to be willing to go out there and get the information from the people who have done it, from the people who have a track record. Success leaves a trail, and that's, I think, something that Tony Robbins said, and it is true. People close up their minds because they will be like, well, other people are successful because of this and that. Maybe it's luck, maybe it's timing, maybe it's whatever. Even though I think that has been proven wrong many times. I watched this show called Undercover Billionaire. They can literally just be thrown in the middle of nowhere with $100 and they can create $1 million business within 90 days. It's totally doable, especially if you want to get to the millionaire level, I would say. There are just so many proven paths. There are so many successful people who are already there. And like I said, even just by investing in index funds, you can get there in time. And of course, there are other ways you can do it to accelerate it. You can invest in real estate, you can invest in small businesses, and there are a lot of resources out there to learn. It's not that hard, it's not rocket science. A lot of people did it. Why wouldn't you learn from those people who have done it? Why would you listen to someone who haven't done any of that and just have a suspicion about everything, right? Lesson number 4 is learning is a lifelong process. I say this as if it's easy, it's not. For me, I used to really take learning as a chore. It's very draining. I have been an A student in my school years, but my thought is always I have to do the hard work, but it's only until college or whatever. And then after that, I don't have to learn anymore. I can just sit back, relax, and reap the rewards. How wrong was I? The learning from school is the starting point. Learning is a lifelong process, and there are so many new things to learn all the time. Because the truth is, if you don't continue to learn, your skill sets will become obsolete, and other people will take over. I've seen firsthand a lot of people who are enthusiastic learners. They really get somewhere in their career because, of course, the employers like people like that. They create value. They really bring the most cutting-edge knowledge to the workplace to solve problems more efficiently. And why wouldn't they be promoted and rewarded? I was very resistant about learning for a long time because I felt like my time could be used better for something else. But all it takes is a switch of mindset. You have to think about learning as fun, and it is. It's how human brains work. I learned very early on from elementary school. I remember this teacher was telling us you have to open up certain chemicals. Maybe neurologists have a better way of explaining this, but basically if you think about when you solve a math problem, at first it will be like, oh, this is such a chore. Why would I have to do this? It's much easier to sit down and watch TV. But once you get your brain going, once you start actually thinking and solving a problem, and especially after that task is complete, you feel so rewarded. You feel like you achieved something, right? Versus watching TV, you might feel good for the moment. Afterwards, you just feel like you wasted a bunch of time. Doing the hard thing can make you feel more meaningful afterwards, whereas doing the easy thing may make you feel good at the moment, but afterwards you just feel empty and you get nothing. So if you have the attitude towards learning as if it's fun, and you will enjoy it, you will feel like it's fun. The brain is just like any muscle. The more you work it, the more you use it, the better it's gonna get. And now I learn a lot of new things. Again, going back to the previous point, learning from the successful, right? They all are avid learners. Bill Gates reads a ton of books all the time, even though he's super busy with all the nonprofit organizations that he's running. He just takes all the time he has to read. Even when he's on a boat, he's reading. I'm not a very good reader, but I kind of figured out a workaround. I listen to audiobooks now, which is really pretty cool. I feel like it's a much better use of my time when I listen to audiobooks than listening to music or entertaining YouTube videos. Don't get me wrong, those are also very helpful. I'm sure studies have shown that music is great to you, entertainment is great to you, but carve out some time. I'm sure we can squeeze out some time. The trick I use a lot is when I do house chores, I would have my headphone on and I would listen to audiobooks. And nowadays you can even get apps from the library and get all sorts of audiobooks for free because the local library provides not only physical books but also audiobooks now. Anyway, so learning is fun and it is a lifelong process. You will gain a lot, not just pure knowledge, even just inspirational things, mindset things, happiness, spiritual endeavors, what have you.